Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Life with Lizzie show. This is your host, Lizzie Morris. I am so excited to have you here. So today's podcast episode, I wanted to kind of flip around different subjects than we've been talking about recently here and talk about some business stuff, because I have had multiple girls or women message me recently and asking kind of for help, all kind of various questions. Some are doing affiliate marketing, some are just trying to build themselves up on TikTok and like work with brands. Some are in MLMs, it's just a various group of people asking these questions. And honestly, first off, I feel a little flattered, but also like this whole imposter syndrome, like how are people asking me for info on how to work through social media and like tips and tricks, because even though I feel like I know what I'm doing, at the same time, I feel like I don't. So I appreciate that. But I do know that I have some tips if you are just getting started. If you have never utilized your social media as a way to bring in income, okay, if you have never used your platform to spread a message, to show people who you really are, then it's something that you want to do, it's something that you want to start pursuing, this podcast episode might be a good place to start. So obviously, just like any business, okay, you think of like, let's use McDonald's as an example. There are so many ins and outs to any business. So at McDonald's, you got to learn how to work the register. You got to learn the menu options. Then you need to learn how to cook the French fries and like how long and what temperature. You need to learn what goes on this burger, what goes here, what goes there, how to clean this, how to do this, what is the order that we do these things. And you're not going to learn it your first day at work, right? It is going to take a process. I don't know about you guys. I worked at Hardee's. That's the only fast food job I've had. And I did learn how to do almost everything. And it's a process. It took time. But then once I figured some of the stuff out, like once I learned the menu, girl, I could do it with my eyes closed. Like someone told me their order at the drive-thru. I mean, of course I wouldn't have my eyes closed, but I could. I remember I could do the menu by heart. But at first I couldn't do it. It took weeks and weeks and weeks for me to get to that level. And that's just one portion. There were still things I didn't yet master by the time I left. And so it's going to be the same, just like any other business in the world, and just the same with you running a business on social media. And whether you are a part of like a company, whether you are selling a product, or whether you are just trying to build yourself up so that way you can make money through views and brand partnerships and things like that. There's so many different options, so many ways to make money on social media. But just know it is a process. There's going to be trial and error. There's going to be things that I would hate to even say that you make mistakes, because honestly, there's no rule book, right? There's not here's exactly how to do it. And that's what makes this one of the things that I think people crave so badly. Like, tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel like we crave working for ourselves, being these entrepreneurs through social media, because there are no rules. But at the same time, we live in a society that is bound by rules. You go to school, there's rules. You go to your job, there's rules. You drive the car, there's rules. You go to the store, there's rules. So we kind of are searching for these answers that aren't completely laid out, like X, Y, Z, this is exactly what you need to do to get exactly where you need to be. It's not going to be like that, but you kind of got to read in between the lines and do some digging and take some of these tips and keep applying them and keep trying to develop and keep trying to learn. And I promise you will see growth. This is a long-term game. This is a sprint, not a race. Is that the correct terminology for all my like runners or athletes out there, right? A sprint, isn't that like more long distance versus running? Just know it's kind of like the tortoise and the hare. Take your time and learn the valuable skills, build up on them, and you'll continue to grow. Okay, so I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. That was just like a little piece of advice. But here is just some of my tips, not in any importance order, just things that are coming to my head that I feel like if you are just now starting off, like I said, this is for the beginner. This is for the person that doesn't know their brand, that kind of doesn't have the clear vision just yet. They just know that this is something that they want to do, but they don't know exactly what they want to do, if that makes sense. So first off, figure out your brand. I just mentioned that. Figure out your brand. And this is honestly not that hard, okay? Your brand is going to be the things that make up you. Okay, so God knows that there is somebody in your life that as soon as you think of them, there's something related to their habits, their personality, their job, something like that. Like as soon as you think about them, right? Let me give you an example. So as soon as I think of my sister, I think of artwork. She's an artist. She literally paints. Okay, as soon as I think of my grandma Marty, I think of frogs. And you want to know why? Because her house is full of frogs and everyone always gives her something frog decorated. And that's just been something that she's like always been into. You might have someone close to you that always is constantly dyeing their hair crazy colors. And that's the first thing that you think of when someone says their name. Tell me you can think of these examples. Think of these examples in your life. Something that you might be able to even do is go to your really close friends and family and be like, what are some things that you think of when someone says my name? Like, not personality traits, not like honest, hard. Well, no, those are good. You know, if you want a little hype moment, you know, some validation, that's good too. But you know, not personality traits or things like that. More so things that you talk about, things that you're passionate about, something that you know a lot of information on, something that you like to share with other people. So for me, I think something that's probably very easy at this point for people to see, I am a huge birth advocate, okay? So that is a big piece of my brand, to the point where people feel comfortable coming to me, talking to me about, you know, VBACs and their potential birth story or what happened with them before, the births that they're going for this next time, asking me questions. You know, they see me as a resource for that in their lives, for birth advocacy, for learning things around that subject, okay? So what are the things in your life that you find important, that you're passionate about, that you enjoy, that you can bring value to other people? That is going to be pieces of your brand. And you want to think about like 3 or 4 things. Obviously, there's going to be little nooks and crannies in between. There's going to be other things about you that aren't going to be these major subjects. But you want to hone in on these, okay? So if you are selling a product or a business, like what I do with ketones is a big part of my brand. That's one piece, but that's just one piece. It is not the only thing I sit there and talk about all day. In fact, it's one of the least things I talk about, okay? But if you're a part of a company, you're going to want your company in there or something around what the company has to do with. So maybe you don't want to make it your company per se, but for instance, me, drinking ketones promotes a healthy lifestyle. And I myself have lost almost 100 pounds. So I do promote and give healthy lifestyle tips and things like that. That really can fit in with that brand. Does that make sense? Right? And so you're going to have these little umbrellas under each brand as well. Pockets of information that you can start sharing, pockets of content that you can start giving to people. So another piece of my brand is being a mom, motherhood. Right? And that's a lot of you guys out there. How many of us go on TikTok and obsess over the mom content? Like people just talking about how their kids are screaming and changing poopy diapers is so like we're so tired. We're cleaning the house all the time. Like the stay-at-home mom life is rough, you know, all the things. Like that's all I see on my TikTok and I binge on that content. So if you're a mom, make motherhood content. You might not think it's valuable, but people out there are into that. Like I like watching people clean their house. I don't know why, you know, but maybe that's something you enjoy watching. So maybe that's something you could try. And in the background of the video, you do a voiceover talking about how your day was as a mom or the lessons you've learned as a mom or things like that. I think I'm going way too deep into this. I'm like missing the subject. I'm like going from just telling you what a brand is to telling you content that you should be making. But you get my point. I'm just trying to give examples, right? So for me, I would say like the big things with my brand, like I said, is like birth advocacy, motherhood, healthy living, and being like a plus size mom, honestly, like motivational type stuff, like body positivity type stuff. And those are the things that I focus on and try to give value with. Okay. So when you go to create content, think of your brand, think of how can this help somebody? Is it going to make someone laugh? Is it going to educate somebody? Is it going to provide some type of value? If so, it's probably a great thing to post. And you're finding people that relate to the life that you live. And that's the whole point of this. When you are starting an online business, especially with social media, and you are trying to build, you are trying to find your people. Of course, we accept and love people that think differently and act differently and do different things. But you're trying to find people that have similar values and beliefs and things like that to you, right? So you guys can build that connection and you have that following. And so you build those friendships. And so you have those new teammates. So you have customers that actually you get along with, right? Like, I love having customers that think and do similar things in life as me, because we just vibe. We can talk about other things than just coaching, than just ketones. Because at the end of the day, that's not all. I don't want to sit there and just talk about ketones with my customers. I want to talk about other things in life and like build that friendship with them. And so because I have focused so much on my brand, a lot of my customers, my teammates, the people that I've connected with that have never bought ketones, a lot of us have similar concepts and things that we agree on. And so we have these really bomb-ass conversations, and I learn things from them. They learn things from me. They introduce me to other people, and we build and build and build. And that is how, this is a relationship game. Okay? So, back to the point. Figure out your brand. Figure out, once you find your brand, the things that you can offer to other people, because whether you believe it or not, you have something valuable to offer. You know something that someone else doesn't, that you can teach them or share with them. Okay? And that's just where I would start. To be honest, I start there, because once you can get your brand down and figure out how to share yourself in that way and share the things about you that you're not used to openly sharing, then you can get into like the strategy. Then you can like go to the next level and be like, okay, now I figured out how, like, I'm sharing things about myself. I know things about myself. How can I be a little more strategic with it? Right? So seriously, think about those things. I would say something that I love about being in network marketing is that it basically made me figure out myself because of the branding stuff. Like, I've taken branding workshops. We actually have a branding workshop for people on our team that teaches you exactly how to find your brand, and like actually goes through what I'm saying, but like 10 times deeper and like much more detailed. And it's like, you, outside of this type of field, we're not often encouraged to figure out the things that like make us us, you know, like maybe we know that we like certain things, or that we enjoy doing this, or that we feel passionate about X, Y, and Z, but do we ever sit there and like utilize it to up level us in our life and provide value to other people? A lot of times we don't, but working on social media and being in network marketing encourages you and pushes you, if you are willing to do so, to open up that box, to learn more about yourself, to learn how to provide value to other people, to make deposits of information and value into other people's lives, so that way you can be receive and be blessed back, right? That's how this all works. It's a circle of life. So I hope this helps. I hope that this little tip helped you figure out where to begin. Don't feel like you have to know everything when you're getting started in a business, when you're getting started on TikTok, when you're getting started on Instagram. You do not need to know everything. You just need to get started, and you need to be consistent. That's it. And once you have started and became consistent for enough time, then you move on to the next thing. So you're not overwhelming yourself. And that is something I've had to apply with myself. And that's why I've been doing this for 5 years, and I'm not, and we're never going to always be where we want to be, but you understand what I'm saying. This is a long-term game. This is a long-term journey. You're not going to start posting on social media, start a business, and just blow up overnight. And if you do, I'm so happy for you, because it does happen very rarely. But the journey is important, and the process of growth and learning the tips and tricks and learning the algorithm just by trial and error, not because someone told you exactly how it works. This is very much an experience game with some tips and tricks thrown in there. So I hope this helps. If you found any value in this, if you know anyone that is starting a business, someone that is brand spanking new, that just needs a little boost, a little pep in their step, like they don't know where to begin, they don't know what to begin sharing, they don't know what to do, please send those over to them. Feel free to share in your social media stories and tag me at Lizzie and Littles. If you guys ever want to leave a review, a 5-star review, that would help get the podcast seen. I would so very much appreciate that. And I love you guys so much, and I can't wait to see you in the next episode. Bye.